recording, and we're back on sharing the whole screen. And I want to look for code box. Right. So we want to write a program that will allow us to enter two values which indicate the bounds of random numbers that will populate an array of size 10. So we have our include statements, etc. I'm pretty much gonna borrow the top of this whole program here, and I will then modify this to suit my own needs. So the first thing that I need to do is that I want to ask the user. So I go printf, and I ask the user to enter two values, an upper boundary and a lower boundary, right? So please enter a range separated by a comma for the random numbers to be chosen from. So I've asked for my range for my random numbers to be chosen from, and then I will scanf. And what do I scanf and do? Scanf %sign d, comma %sign d. And I need to have two integers, int num1 and num2. And I'll store them ampersand num1, comma ampersand num2. Okay, just get used to putting that get char after you scanf. So this first part here is really and truly getting the numbers from the user for the random number range. We're going to make the assumption that num1 will always be smaller than num2, but we know that we are able to write code that will be able to swap them around if it is that we are, if it is that they enter it in the incorrect order. Okay, I'm not putting that inside here. We did that in a previous class. So we're making the assumption that num1 is the smaller number, num2 is the larger number. And what do we want to do? First things first is that we need to have this srand. So this here is the seed for our random number, which comes from the computer clock. So seed for random number, which comes from the computer clock. And then what do we do? Basically, we have to have a for loop and our array. So we say int r, and the array size is 10. This is the only time that we will, if it is that the size is 10, then it means that the subscripts will be 0 to 9. Okay, no time inside here should we reference array 10 again. And then we'll have a counter for the array C. So we can say for C equal to 0, C is less than 10, C++, what do we want to do? We want to set a random number within the range to a particular location in the array. So I could say array at location C4. So this is saying basically for every location in the array, for every location in the array, what do I want to do? I want to find the random number and store it in that location. So I'm finding a random number and storing it inside of that location. So array at position C is going to be equal to rand, which is the function that will return the random number. But now we have to get the range for which we want that random number to exist. So random mod, and that range will be num2 minus num1 plus 1. Okay? So we find the range. So if the range was 15, we have to mod it by 16. Okay? And then we add the lower boundary so that the smallest number that we can get is the lower boundary itself. And the larger number will be the upper boundary. Okay? So array at position C is equal to rand. So we get the random number, and mod it by the second number, larger number minus the smaller number plus 1, then add the lower number, the smaller number, to set the minimum value. Okay, and so this is really and truly what we get to assign the random numbers there. And the last thing that we do is we say for what? For, we could use over C is equal to 0, C is less than 10, C plus plus. What do we want to do? We simply want to printf the value that is inside of array at position C. We put a space there so that all the numbers is not jumbled up when they come out. Okay? So let's see if it is that I type this up without any errors. It seems like there are no errors in terms of syntax. But let's see if it works in terms of. So if I said 47 is the smallest value and 103 is the larger value, we have 10 numbers printing out, and all of them should be within the range of 47 to 103. And the thing is, even if I run this program again with 47, 103, I get different values each time coming out. Is everybody fine with this?
So I feel real stupid, sir. Mine was just a sequence and I put something before something and that's why it wasn't working.
Oh, well, you see, well, that comes with practice, right? So, I mean, you know, the thing is, you saw the error, you learn from it, next time you won't do it again.
So I had to put the SRAM under everything, sir.
Oh, no, the SRAM must go first, right? Because that is the seed from which the random number will be generated.
Yes, sir.
So I will upload these codes to our file folder, and of course I will prepare the video and add it to the list of videos for class. Okay, so now you know how to do arrays in C, and you know how to do random numbers in C. Hopefully next week we'll be able to do some strings. We'll at least be able to look at some strings and characters in C and understand how that works. And I think then that will mean that we're in a pretty good position to even take our vacation. Right? Any questions before I stop recording?
Still have one question, sir. I see some people using, like, instead of the, let me see, right, SRAM, and you have unsigned time and then %T. I see some people just have SRAM time and then null in brackets.
And null in brackets.
Yeah.
I believe it should work because this is time I just return a value. It calls for a bit of an understanding of pointers. This is how I learned it. it could be that a different version of C or a different update might be that way would work for them, but this is just how I learned it. And again, I know that I keep saying and I keep deferring, explaining the concept of pointers and stuff like that. It will be one of the things that I explain fairly early next term. And it's not difficult, but I just don't want to burden your brains with it right now. So the fact that they put null inside of there is just a different means of showing what you want to reference or what you want to pass in. I can't see how time changes behavior when null is passed as opposed to when that time pointer is passed. But again, this is just how I learned it. So this is how I'm passing it on to you. But if it works that way and you know it's comfortable, in time, you know, we will understand at least what's going on in terms of what's being passed to the function, etc. So, any other questions?
Sir, could you show the code like again, like a minute or so?
Yeah. I can actually send it to you all in the chat right now.
Yeah, so that would be better if you did that.
Okay. Right. I'll send it in the chat right now, so that at least you have it to access. And what was the name of this file, right? Array random exercise. Let's see. Okay. All right. So I've shared it in the chat, but I will also still upload it to the regular folder, and that's it. So with that being said,
So kind of question.